Hey, Kay, we ready to go? Good morning, Tampa Bay. I am attorney Daryl Rouson of the Rubenstein Law Team, a statewide team of lawyers representing people who are injured as a result of no fault of their own in car accidents, slip and falls, medical negligence, wrongful death, serious and catastrophic injuries. Please call Rubenstein Law. We are Florida's premier personal injury law firm, where our slogan is, "We've got your back." 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Rubenstein Law is engaged in the community because we are a part of the community. The firm supports my public service by allowing me to fight for you from the courthouse to the Capitol House. Tune in every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock for current events and topics important to the community. 1-800-FL-LEGAL, Rubenstein Law. We have a special guest with us this morning, Dr. Jeffrey A.J. Johnson, who has spent his entire adult life to impact communities through education and leadership. Leadership development was an early recognized trait in Dr. Johnson. He's well known to the East Tampa community as a lifelong learner. He earned his bachelor's, his master's in ministry, his master's in theology, his doctorate from Warner University and St. Thomas Christian University, and he's currently enrolled at Anderson University in the doctoral program in ministry. Professionally, he is the senior manager of the neighborhood initiatives for the United Way Suncoast, where he works with public schools and nearly 45 community partner organizations to ensure early childhood education and neighborhood financial stabilization, economic growth and development. He's an ordained cleric serving parishes in Hillsborough and Polk counties. So please let us welcome this morning with us, Dr. Jeffrey A.J. Johnson. Good morning, Dr. Johnson.
Good morning, Senator. Good morning to you.
Thank you. Let's begin by telling the people a little bit about where your love of education came from.
Interesting enough, I was kind of thrust into education. I started preaching when I was 12, and my first church I received when I was 19, as I was a freshman, which I was pastoring. We had a shortage in our academy. At that time, we had maybe around 250, 300 students in our academy at the church. And so we had to do some budgetary cuts, and who had to go in the classroom? I was forced in the classroom to make sure that our budget was stabilized. And I always enjoyed being a part of shaping the minds of young people. And that's where it started. And so started teaching that way, and then started being a substitute teacher for the public schools, and started doing some adjunct teaching for HCC. And then became a administrator for my alma mater for my undergrad and master's degree at Warner University. So it's just been a lifelong process, but it started, just making sure that our church had educators for our academy.
Why do you think education is a solution to some of the problems we're experiencing in society, including violent crime?
I think persons are marginalized and minimalized based on what they don't know. And it brings a place of disparity because you haven't been exposed, you haven't experienced, you haven't learned. And I think education is more than just the aptitude of what's learned academically, but is also the products of what you learn from life, experience, and knowledge, and those that pour into you. So education is a constant endeavor, if you will, taking an opportunity to pour into someone, whether it is in a classroom or someone that you're mentoring. That's the basic thing. And I think a lot of times when we think about our children and some of the problems that they are facing academically, there's a shortage for the continuation of education beyond the classroom, the mentorship, the village model. And that is just not the system and the culture that we're living in. And that is bringing a lot of problems that we're seeing today with some of our young people.
So you truly believe in the passion of education in getting rid of ignorance?
Absolutely.
Does that involve just academic education, or can it also involve vocational or technical education?
Absolutely. We learner, and just thinking about this now, I'm just thinking with our high school counselors, it was you're going to college or it's military. We didn't hear much about vocational training and technical training. And that is important. I think that is something that we're not speaking enough about. Entrepreneurship for our children, technical services, vocational training and development. They are students that have great business ideas. My middle son is 10 years old and he's already started a business, a beauty supply business. And
wow.
So that's amazing. And I mean, when we have events, he sets up his product, he sells, he has his price sheets, all of that stuff. And when he graduated from high school, I would love my son to take an academic track. But if he does not, vocation, learning a skill, learning a trade, I think we have to expose our children to a plethora of opportunities and how they can make advancements with their life.
Now, you've always been involved in education and in community stuff. You were trying to take some of your passion to the next level, and you actually ran for school board in Hillsborough County. What did that experience teach you?
There are a couple of things that it taught me. I got into the race 2 months before the election and received 19% of the vote in a 2-month time period with 4 persons running. That showed me that there was an engine behind me and a group of people that were invigorated with the thoughts and the passion that I have. But it also taught me how to continue to move forward. Just because I did not win the first time, valuable lessons and the people that I met. But to me, my passion for children and education wasn't just attached to having a seat at the table, because I continue to do what I'm doing, whether I'm an elected constitutional officer or not. My passion, and that could be the pastoral part of me, that I love seeing, people growing and thriving and flourishing. My personal mantra is, you're going to win in every area of your life. And so I feel as if it is my God-given assignment that every day that I wake up, I am to help someone else find their purpose and their calling, whether it's through education, community development, or support. So it taught me a lot. It taught me about the people that are here, the passion of those who are voiceless, and they are looking for someone that will speak for them. Those persons who feel marginalized, that perhaps the school district is not listening to them, or their children have been branded in a negative way, and they need someone that's going to champion their causes, and someone that is going to be able to articulate and properly sit down and not bring embarrassment to our African-American communities. And that's no slight against anyone else. I'm just basically saying people want to know, once you get there, will you represent me well? Right. Don't make us look bad.
That's right.
I'm already young. Don't make us look bad. We're giving you a chance. And so I want to make sure that people know that I will fight for them.
And so it wasn't to be that your seat would be at the table of the school board, but you made your own table. Is that right?
I guess you could say that.
You serve on the East Tampa Community Advisory Committee. What is the East Tampa Community Advisory Committee?
So the city of Tampa have several community CRAs that are set up. East Tampa CRA is the largest one in the state of Florida with an $11 million budget. And their board members are elected by the residents in that area. Those who are business owners, those who are residents, they are elected to that particular board. Our church is in East Tampa. When I moved here 17 years ago, I pastored in East Tampa. And so even when I started a church 3 years ago, we remained right here. And so I was elected to that board to sit with some amazing men and women. We carry out the thoughts and the community development and the economic growth for East Tampa. The CAC is a board, an advisory board to the CRA board, which is also your Tampa City Council. And our purpose is to eliminate blight and poverty in our community, to make sure that stabilization is there. Housing and rehab is made available to those who may not be able to afford that. Economic opportunities and infrastructure is in the community. So we sit at that table to make sure that we are utilizing the tax incremental funds from the residents in that area, and they're going into projects that the citizens want to see.
So one of the thoughts that you had in a way of promoting leadership and creating a better educational environment was East Tampa Youth Leadership and Entrepreneurship Academy. Tell us about that thought and how the academy plays out.
Yes, sir. I'm a father first, and there was a mother that came and shared with our board her concerns, and my heartstrings were really pulled. There was internal melody taking place from her saying what she had to say. And she came to our board and she said, something needs to be done. We work a lot with Major Johnson and the substation on 22nd and Lake. And she came and said in East Tampa, and we knew this, that there were 6 shootings and killings in 6 days. And many of those persons were young adults, almost on the cusp of being teenagers. And she said, I don't want my child to be that person. There's not enough for our children to do. There are several programs in the community. There are several programs through your organization, Omega Psi Phi, my fraternity, Kappa Psi, our Kappa League, and then there are programs with the NAACP. But the thing is about it, there are not enough programs.
There can never be enough.
Never could be enough.
Because
programs.
if each one saves 1 or 2 or 3, then those lives will touch thousands of other lives.
Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry for cutting you off.
No. I'm just saying there will never be enough programming for our youth. So I was on a plane headed somewhere, I think DC or something like that. And I just started to write down, how could we really bring a program that is championed by our board, that is ran by our board, to really bring some type of stabilization, encouragement, and to produce wealth creators in our community. If we are to eliminate blight and poverty, one of the ways that we can do that is by reaching another generation. I'm always talking about posterity. Posterity are your children and your grandchildren, that you're creating a legacy for them. And if we start developing our young people now, extrapolating from their skills, pulling from their skills, fine-tuning their leadership development skills, we could do that. And so came up with the concept of the Leadership and Entrepreneurship Business Academy, reaching those students who are on the cusp of just great leadership and putting them in front of some amazing men and women who are executives, CEOs.
As mentors.
As mentors, that they can pour into them, they can glean and they can learn from them. And then it will be a year-long academy that every month a different topic will be taught, from credit restoration, from land acquisition, from financial stability, from community service, from politics. We will cover a full range of topics to make them and help them become as well leveled as possible. And then at the end of the 12 months, when they've completed the 12 months, there will be a graduation ceremony for them. But throughout that process, each of those young persons will be partnered with a mentor that they can pour into them. From them. One of the things about the mentors, and we talked about this as well, that one of the mentors has already committed to hiring some of the people, some of the young people from the program if they don't choose to go to college. This gentleman is a general manager for a large car dealership. He said, I'll be willing to take someone under my wing, and there's no reason why they should not be able to make $100,000 within 2 years of that mentorship working at that car dealership for this firm. And that's what we want to do.
You're listening to Dr. Jeffrey Johnson, and I'm attorney Daryl Rouson, your state senator for District 19, talking this morning about the East Tampa Youth Leadership and Entrepreneurship Academy. and what we're doing to support that. This half-hour segment is sponsored by Rubenstein Law, your Florida premier personal injury law firm, representing people injured due to auto accidents, slip and falls, wrongful death, medical negligence. 1-800-FL-LEGAL for all of your injury needs. What is the age group, the targeted age of these youth leaders?
Yes, sir. 15 to 18.
And is there any magic behind that age group?
No, I just think they're impressionable. They're at a place of adolescent maturity in some regards, that their eyes are open. They pretty much have a beginning snapshot of what they want to do or what they want to accomplish. And most 15-year-olds, they are, sophomores. And so their mind is already spawned into, what am I going to do after graduation? And so we just, pick that age group so we can develop them and help them as they are journeying through high school. And even those that could have perhaps graduated and you're still 18, they're welcome to be a part of the program as well.
Very good. Now, when is this going to get started and how do people apply?
Thank you. It is geared to start this month, but we cannot start without the community really supporting this venture. We're grateful for the media, such as what you're doing today, and the coverage that we've had press-wise and visual, but we still need kids. We have plenty of mentors. Sadly, this program is only open at this moment in time to those students that live in the East Tampa zip codes in that demographic. And so students are slow to sign up because they may not know about the program. But this week, we've really amped up the media and the marketing for that. And so we're looking to start by the end of June. How can they do that? The information is on the City of Tampa website, tampa.gov. You can type in the search box, East Tampa Leadership Academy. It will pull up everything that you need. You can complete that application online and submit it right there.
And if they want to call, the number to call East Tampa CRA is 813-242-3807. And the website, and I'll repeat that number again, 813-242-3807, East Tampa CRA. And the website is easttampacra@tampagov.net. Now, you already are receiving applications, but because the target number is how many scholars?
40 scholars.
And you've had applications coming in?
Yes.
I noticed that there are requirements such as GPA and reference letters. Can you talk about that a little
Absolutely. Bit? Our GPA is just for scholars to have a 2.0. We want to make sure that it is obtainable, that it is not astronomical for some, but our students, that they can be a part of the program. And then we want them to reference. You have to have some defining moment of how do you accept the students. We want to hear what they've been doing already, whether in their schools, in their churches, in their faith-based communities. And so they must have a letter of recommendation from a teacher, an educator, a faith leader, or community leader, and have at least a minimum of a 2.0 GPA to be a part of the program. We want to have some baseline that we can work off of as we're training and developing these young minds.
And is there any requirement in addition to attending the sessions for volunteer work?
We want all of our students are required to do a minimum of 3 community service hours a month. But the interesting thing is, Senator, is that not only are the children involved, but their parents must be involved as well. We want them to be a part of the journey with their scholars. In the beginning part of this, the scholars and the parents must go through an orientation We want the parents to see what they will be learning. We want to expose them to the topics that we will discuss every single month. And then we want the parents to be a part of some volunteer projects with their children as well. This will be a great opportunity for them to build a stronger relationship. I'm just a firm believer when you take into partnership what your child is doing. Not just hearing what they're doing, saying, Mom, Dad, I want to do this, but you are with them. They have a greater level of investment and return because you're both doing it together.
And I noticed that some of the subject matter that you've already mentioned that the kids will be talking about, it includes politics in the 21st century and advocacy. Can you touch on that a little bit, why it's important, not only for community service, volunteerism, mm-hmm. not only for academics and leadership, but what advocacy and politics means?
We want these scholars to know what affects them and how it affects them through the process of legislation, and what happens with bills and things that come to the floor, and what you should be advocating and fighting for them to understand one of the greatest tools they have is their voice. Right? Mm-hmm. I talked earlier about not being marginalized, not being muffled. So if our students understand now the issues that are affecting them, I don't know if you heard this week in the news, there was a young lady, valedictorian in Texas. She had already submitted her speech of what she would talk about. And then as she was talking, she went completely off script. 18-year-old young lady talking about Texas' new abortion law and how it affected her. Wow. And she said, I'm going to use the platform that I have right now to speak my voice. Whether you guys agree or not, I'm going to use that. So our students at this moment in time, our children, they need to understand their voice, not us tainting them with what we believe and the politicians that we're linked to and the parties that we're linked to. But we want to open their impressionable minds of how they can get involved, how they can be a part of civil service boards, how they can perhaps one day run for public office. But it starts now by them understanding that process. Many of them, they go through that in civics, so they understand a little bit about governmental law. But how about getting involved locally? How about advocating what's important to you?
And using whatever platform God gives you.
There you go.
To speak your truth.
There you go. There you go.
So let's remind folks one more time, this is about the East Tampa Youth Leadership and Entrepreneurship Academy. If you have any questions, please call in. The call-in number is 813-251-9867. We were listening to Dr. Jeffrey Johnson talk about the Leadership and Entrepreneurship Academy. Let's talk about, for a minute, the word and the concept entrepreneurship. How is that significant to teach children the ways of being an entrepreneur?
You know, entrepreneur, basically a business owner. You have a thought, you have an idea, and you have a product that someone else may need. How do you take that? How do you package that? How do you communicate that? How do you market that others will benefit from what you have, and you make a living from that? A living not only to support yourself, but you're also a wealth creator, you're a job creator, and you're stabilizing yourself. You are your own boss. I think that's very important because many of our students, they have ideas. They have amazing ideas to make money and to do some really out of the box things, but no one has told them how to do that, you know? Most persons are not entrepreneurs. They may not have that business savvy sense. And so I think if we take those students, whether they want to be entrepreneurs or just leaders, executives, doctors, lawyers, this is the best time to mold them and to put them in front of the people that have done it and done it well.
Now, do you need more mentors?
We will never have enough mentors. Never. If I was to have 2 or 3 mentors as a child, as a young adult, teenager, I'll take it. The more people pouring into me, the better I am. And so that's a great opportunity for our students to really thrive and flourish.
So parents can call East Tampa CRA 813-242-3807 or go on the website at East Tampa CRA at tampagov.net. And if you have any questions for Dr. Johnson, please call in 813-251-9867. Is the city council involved in this in any kind of way?
Absolutely. The city council has a dual role. They're also your CRA board. And so when this came across and presented to our board, the one that I sit on, the CAC, it was approved. And originally we had it, I asked for a particular amount to cover the expenses and the person that will perhaps, run the academy with a nice a stipend, if you will. And one of our fellow board members said, I think we need to do more. We want to make this program even more. The CAC, the East Tampa CAC, is a phenomenal group of men and women. And so it was one of my fellow board members that say, let's increase this. And so it went to the city council. When it went to the city council, it was unanimously approved. One of our city council members even said that they love the program so much that they would like to see this in all of the CACs and the CRAs around the city, which is amazing.
So the pilot is East Tampa.
That's right. Make it successful. They'll put it in the other CRAs.
All right. Did we have a caller on the line? Caller, please go ahead.
Yes, this is Reverend Dixon. Thank you, Attorney Rouson and my brother, Dr. Johnson. I want to ask a question, and this could be for the good of Kappa too. What can we do as adults invest in your program in case a person has an idea that they want to go in business? How can we help them by financially getting involved with whatever they plan to do?
Good brother. Good morning, Reverend Dixon. One time for the Noops, because I'm sitting next to an Omega man that has on a shirt.
That's why we have to double check on why we.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Throw up the yos for me, even though I can't see you because he has his little whatever. So I won't even say. But Brother Dixon, thank you. I know that you have a background in community service as well as in housing development. I think just reaching out to these young people and being a mentor and then just listening to some of their business ideas and partnering with them once they complete the academy to say, let's invest together. I think that's the greatest thing, because that is now reinvigorating our generation, this generation that is coming up, to stay in East Tampa, to stay in Tampa, to become business owners, and they're giving back to the community. So that's what I would say. You have a wealth of knowledge and experience to become a mentor, just to find a young man, a young lady, to find out if they want to do perhaps what you've done well. And then as they complete the program, taking them to the next step of development.
Okay, I'll set aside maybe $50,000 to invest.
Wow.
In some of the, if they are reasonable and logical, not something that I don't feel that would be successful, but anything that I feel that we can come together, I will invest up to $50,000, not in one project, but in several projects.
Brother Newt, thank you. That's what we need. That's what we need.
And that's powerful. Reverend Dixon, thank you so much for your continued investment in young people and in this community. People. Go ahead.
Call me later concerning a young man who was beaten in the Fernandez County Jail. I need an attorney for him.
Thank you. I'll give you a call. My friends, you've been listening to Dr. Jeffrey A. Johnson. Is there another call on the line? Caller, go ahead. Nope, no caller. You've been listening to Dr. Jeffrey A. J. Johnson of the East Tampa Youth Leadership and Entrepreneurship Academy. We need applications seeking 40 scholars to engage in leadership and entrepreneurship sessions. You can call East Tampa CRA at 813-242-3807. This half-hour segment has been sponsored by Rubenstein Law. I am Attorney Darrell Rouson, your state senator for District 19. Please call Rubenstein